Do you have drop and lock LVP flooring and something bad happened to it? Now, you have to replace a plank in the middle of the floor. But how? It's all locked together. You're screwed. Well, good news. If you stick around in this video, I'll show you how to repair and replace it. Working at the lake, it's gorgeous outside. Things are going in relatively well for the install. But then you have a problem. Right here where your island's supposed to be, there's a wire. And it's not hidden. It should be in here. God damn it. Now we gotta fix it. First thing I'm gonna do is mark out my plank with some tape and mark my cuts with a marker, since I don't want to screw up and bugger up any more flooring than I have to. Alright, got that all marked up. Now I know where I gotta go up to. Black represents where I'm gonna be cutting with a saw. To cut this, I'm gonna use a skill saw, one of these, or one of those. But to make this quicker, I'm gonna start with this. I set my depth, and I cut to the corners as close as possible with this, and finish it off with a sharp blade. Now I cut close to the corner, but not quite up with the circular saw. I just don't want to have any accidents. Next step is to use one of these, a little flush cutter. I cut as close as I can to the corner, but again, I might stay back just so I don't slip and bugger things up. You can always finish that off with a knife. I'm gonna finish off this corner with a knife. And what's important is I'm going to pull back from the corner and not out towards a finished floor. That way if I slip, I'm not scratching more floor. So always pull in toward your work, and that way you shouldn't have any issues. Next step is to take a pry bar like this, and we're going to pull up very carefully. I'm going to do the two long pieces first, and then we're going to work on the ends after. Here it goes. And you don't want to reef on this. You have to kind of bend it out a little bit. There we go. One. This might be the trickier one. This one's actually underneath. I'm gonna gently pull. So let's talk about our next step. I'm gonna chisel this little hump or raised section that it's going to allow me to slip underneath this a lot easier. The bump on the tongue locks the floor into place and prevents any lateral movement. Normally when installing this type of floor, you gotta lift the piece you are putting in on an angle and drop it down. But you can't do this since it's in the middle of the room surrounded by other planks. And that's why I'm taking the effort to chisel the hump off so I can slide the plank into place. Easy peasy. Make sure you chisel the hump off the long edge and the short edge. If not, you're in for a bad time. And then the other thing I gotta do is dress this piece up as well on the other side. You'll notice that there's a bit of a lip here that I'm gonna have to back bevel. Cut this little lip off the side dropping in so I actually can drop it in. I would suggest doing this from above the top down, so you can see that you're not cutting into any part of the finished piece. I definitely recommend testing your plank out on some extra flooring to see if enough material has been removed and that the back bevel is working out. It should drop in and fit snugly. So before doing the dry test, you're going to want to make sure your corners are cleaned out really well. You don't need anything that's going to stop you from getting it in. Cut these corners and some of this so it gives me some clearance from the other tongues. Before you skip ahead, check this out, because this is important. If you try to put your piece in without clipping the ends of your tongues off, you simply won't have enough room or clearance to put your plank in place. You need to give yourself as much wiggle room as possible. When I'm doing this, I start out by slipping some of the tongue of the long edge underneath the flooring. But what you'll soon find out is that the tongue on the short edge will seem too long and won't be able to clear the tongue on the flooring that's in place, making it mission impossible. But by clipping some of the tongue off of the piece you're dropping in, your piece will have enough room to drop down and slide in like it should. My piece is more or less dry fitted. It's gonna work. So I'm gonna pull it out before I completely smack it down, or I might not get it out. The other thing I'm gonna mention is vacuum your piece off that you're putting in there. You don't want any crumbs and bits falling into where the grooves you're trying to snap this stuff into. Just anything in there just doesn't work. So make sure you do that. I'm gonna go along here with my glue, my CA glue, and on the tongue portion on the already installed floor. Just put some dabs of glue. You don't want to get too much. You don't want that coming up on here and having to clean up the big mess. But in case I do, I have rags or paper towel and some acetone that I can clean it up here with right away. Also, we'll put some along here as well. Dab every couple inches or so. Here we go. Slide your corner in first. Underneath. And I didn't get the money shot. As they say in certain other film industries, my phone was not, shall we say, performing. So, here's a slight reenactment of how it went. Basically, it went in well with the addition of some swearing for some reason, and it never fails. With dry fitting things, everything goes smoothly, but the minute you put some goddamn glue on things and it's go time, things never end up slipping in the way you practiced. But in the end, I got it and it looks good. Here's the end result after I got it all put in. Pieces in, it looks great. It's not sticking up at all.
Yeah, boy. Like it.